What's up, NIO family? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very quick update about NIO and the markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. Anyways, today is Labor Day in the US, and I wish you guys a very happy Labor Day weekend. Because it's Labor Day, I'm going to make this video very short and simple since I do have a lot of things going on. NIO has been consolidating for quite some time, but we have some awesome news that just came out. NIO delivered 31,305 vehicles in August of 2025, which consisted of 10,500 vehicles from NIO, 16,434 vehicles from Envo, and 4,300 vehicles from Firefly. This puts their total deliveries at 838,000 as of August 31st, 2025. Looking at the charts right over here, what you'll see is that NIO has set a new record with 31,000 deliveries in August, once again exceeding lots of expectations. When you zoom out and look at the chart like this, what you'll see is that January, January we did about 13,000 deliveries. February was 13,000, 15,000, 20,000. So we started hitting the 20,000 mark again by spring. And then once we got past July, we're now hitting the 30,000 mark, which is absolutely fantastic news. I think this is very bullish for the share price because once we start to really expand those deliveries, the goals become more and more realistic. Because what typically happens is Q4 is the strongest quarter for us. So I can't imagine how strong Q4 is going to be. And we are projected to see profitability by then. So if NIO pushes past 6.7, we could be looking for a breakout into the sevens. $7 and above could be coming. If we fail and end up losing 6.12, we could be dipping a lot lower. We also have NIO's earnings tomorrow. That's going to be another very important factor, so be ready for that. And on Wednesday and Thursday, it's just lots of retail. For tomorrow, we also have lots of ISM manufacturing numbers coming out around 10 o'clock a.m., so look for some volatility then. And besides that, NIO is consolidating, but I am hoping that we get a nice breakout. I hope we try to push back above the sevens because, once again, earnings could be very optimistic about their sales. And we're looking at new records. I don't want to see us lose 6.2 to start dumping. I want to see us basically break out and get back above 7 to really break out of this wedge. So hopefully we get some upside. And I just want to say it's very awesome regardless. Even if NIO does come down for the short term, the deliveries are very bullish. And for the long term, I still remain a big bull. For the short term on SPY, we're looking kind of weak here, but we are trying to solidify this support. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of shuffle tomorrow and we try to go a little higher in the morning. But then as time goes on, if we can't hold above 646.5, there's going to be a risk of us turning down like this, forming kind of like a head and shoulders on SPY. That is risky in my opinion. Also on the QQQ, we also have this head and shoulders like pattern. Unless we get back above 578 or so, the odds favor us downtrending. So we might see a retest of our EMAs before potentially dipping lower like this. And there is going to be a risk of downside on the QQQ looking at that head and shoulders. On the IWM, we're barely holding 234. We need to hold this. If we don't, we could be dipping towards 232. ES is kind of flat right here. I am seeing that it's just flat. It does look like it's trying to hold these EMAs even after yesterday's session. So it could try to go a little higher, but I'm going to be watching to see, are we about to form like a left shoulder, a head, and then a right shoulder, or do we take out this high one more time? Because if we form a head and shoulders, there's going to be a risk of us kind of turning down like this. So be very careful with ES. May bounce a bit to form that right shoulder before it drops. NQ also happens to have a head and shoulders like pattern, so it might bounce a bit to 23,600 before it starts dumping. Bitcoin's kind of flat right now, but be careful, guys. It's just consolidating. Might retest 110,000. We'll see if it turns back down. Tesla's looking very weak off this head and shoulders. We need to hold above 337 if we can't. We're going to be at risk of 325 very soon. Nvidia is looking kind of weak. We're going to hold 170. I think we test 170 and we'll see if we bounce or not. Aapl may retest 230 and we'll see if we bounce or not. AMD may be dipping back down to 160. Coinbase is going to likely be dipping to about the low 300s. Amazon could be testing 227. Meta might be dipping to about 731. So the majority of tech stocks have some downside risk. Google 212, and then Microsoft may be retesting essentially 502. So I want to be very fast with this. We're going to see how the VIX responds. Might come down, but before it starts to break out above 16.6. So be careful, guys. There is downside risk in the markets, and you want to be very careful, at least nonetheless. I'll see you guys very soon, at least on the next ones. Thank you all so much for listening. The market has downside risk, but NIO is looking bullish. We have earnings, so we'll see how our earnings goes. But other than that, I want to see us get back above $7, especially after a very historic deliveries. Hopefully, we break out more. I thank you all for listening. Have a good one and peace out.